Welcome to TPIM SR Live. Yeah, I found this. Thank God, thank the Most High. I want to share it with you as Brother Dick Gregory. It's a conversation with Dick. Let's begin. Brother Dick, thank you. So, who is the richest white woman in the world?
I've seen too many. Queen Elizabeth is probably the richest white woman in the world. Yeah. She makes $360 million every 24 hours just interest on her money. And she can't go into London till she gets permission from the Lord Mayor, because London's not part of Britain. So when they give it to her, she got to go through the back gate where they had the devil's temple gate, dressed as a servant. So when y'all wake up and realize y'all don't know nothing about what's going on, that's how it works. Now, the people who hate her is the northern Irish from the north. They killed her uncle, blew up his yacht. So they hate her. So they told her, you ain't nothing but a cheap hoe and a dog. If she believed it, there's something wrong with her. So when white folks call you a nigger, and a bunch of poor, ignorant ones, the ones that ain't ignorant, don't call you that, and you believe that, there's something wrong with you. Why wouldn't they?
So, Brother Gregory, why does it seem like we have a different type of mindset?
Only man in the world that know our woman is ugly, and the white boy knows she ugly. That's why she's the only woman on the planet, a black American woman, that go to a place called a beauty parlor. Why would you go to a beauty parlor if you don't think you're ugly? All over the world it's called a hair salon. See how it works? So I call my woman strong because they told me if you don't look like this white woman, okay, she can't be beautiful. So I said, you're a strong sister. But I call my car beautiful. Now, is it an accident that as long as the three of us been black men, you ain't never had a black man say that racist white cop hit my car with his nightstick? Never.
Can you just share a story with us, brother? An allegory of sorts?
One day lightning struck the pig barn. You know how rich you got to be to keep pigs in a barn. So the brothers ran out to the barn, and they see it's engulfed in flames. But there's something that stops the sadness, because they smell something. And they don't know it's barbecue. Barbecue ain't no sauce. It's the way the meat is cooked. So, wow, it never tastes nothing like that. It took 1,000 years before they realized they could cook a pig without burning the barn down. That's us.
So, Brother Gregory, then, what do you think about President Trump?
So when you stop and think, I look at Trump. He's coming out the Christian Bible. David? I didn't read David in Hustler magazine. There's no pornography movies that talk about David. David and Goliath? No. Just King David. King David. I'm sorry. I didn't say King David. David came out of Egypt. He was a slave. Went to Israel and became king. Looked across the balcony and saw another man's wife and sent for her. And the Bible says he pleasured her and got her pregnant. The Bible now, not Hustler. And then they found out how they could do it. Her husband was down at the front fighting David's war. So he sent for him to come back, and she was supposed to have sex with her husband. And it's his baby. But he said, no, I don't want pleasure while my men is dying. So he went back and she told David, so David killed him. So tell me about that trash. That's all Trump is doing. Huh? King James, I didn't know he was king of England. I just thought he wrote the Bible. King James was such a weird, strange homosexual. He hated women so bad he killed his mother, and his lover was Lord Buckingham, who Buckingham Tower is named after, to this day. So when these folks spent that time tying up, if I've been here a billion years, and I have, a billion years, when the white folks here then. So if I was making spears, then who was I killing? If it ain't no white folks, we was killing each other. Why? Because culture pattern is a violation of God. Let's forget about black folks. The continent of Europe, the most vicious wars in the history of planet Earth was white folks fighting white folks over culture patterns. The Greeks, the Egyptians, the whole bit, man. The English, the Germans, culture patterns.
Hey, y'all, this is Dimebag, or Truth Be Told, aka Dimebag Darling. I'm glad you called me up, brother. Right in the middle of recording. It's awesome. Perfect timing. Man, how is this COVID-19 affecting your day to day?
I still go to work. Because my job is deemed essential, however they want to say it. But yeah, man, I'm at work right now.
That's what I'm talking about. Now, what about the streets? Less traffic, less people here and there. Do you notice?
Yeah. No traffic jams. I haven't even seen, in probably like 2 weeks, I haven't even seen a cop have a car even pulled over. I haven't seen any of that stuff.
So,
huh?
No, I mean, I was just asking, so you're seeing the lack of police harassment on the streets, but what about traffic itself?
Oh, there's no traffic at all.
Oh.
No traffic at all. I don't even remember what a traffic jam feels like. I don't know what it feels like anymore to sit in traffic, because I haven't sit in traffic for almost a month.
Oh my God. So what about like the fast food joints? Are they still open in the locations you're in, or do you notice that they're closed? And
yeah, like the restaurants and stuff are still in they're still open, but it's like curbside pickup, or they use those delivery apps and stuff like that, where they'll just drop it off at the door and then leave, and you just go out there and pick it up, so you won't have no human interaction. But I mean, I guess if you're in that field of work, it's gotta really suck, because business is not like booming. Like when I drive to work in the morning and the evening in the area I live in the commercial areas, it's like a ghost town.
Wow.
It's like a scene from The Walking Dead.
Wow. I mean, it's only going to be a minute when people start starving, and the thin layer of civility just explodes.
Well, I can say for sure, probably about 50% of the people that's laid off right now,
right,
that aren't working at home, their jobs are most likely not going to be there when this is all over.
You think? Is that bad?
Yeah, I think it's that bad. Like, I'm thinking it's going to take 5 to 10 years to recover from this.
Wow. So what are those people supposed to do? Just starve quietly in their homes, or?
Well, they're probably hoping that after the purge that we're going through, they'll be able to have a lot of the weak and old out the way, and then they'll be able to deal with the people that's still around.
It's sad that you said it like that, because I was talking to an economic friend of mine, and he was saying that actually it might turn out to be for the betterment of us, like the strong that actually survives, because there may be a little Social Security left at the end of the rainbow.
It could be. But, I've been thinking of all different kind of, excuse me from the background.
Oh, I got a guy in a jackhammer in my background, so yeah, it's totally excused. This is what this show's all about.
But the way I see things is that this whole thing is the front door to getting everybody chipped.
Wow. That's what I said.
From what I've been reading, they said a vaccine wouldn't be released. See, I already think they got the vaccine, so I'm not going to say a vaccine made. I'm going to say a vaccine released. Because I already think they already have the vaccine. From stuff I've seen from different sources that's coming from all parts of the globe, a vaccine wouldn't be available for the public until sometime next summer.
Wow.
If you notice, all these 5G towers are going up at a rapid pace.
Yep. That's to track the chip. That's not for your iPad. It's not for your fucking computer. It's for the RFD chip that will be implanted in your fucking hand so that you can carry on the business.
So when they come out, when they're ready to start chipping, they're going to tell you that your kid's going to need a vaccine for school. So they can't go to school without having the vaccine, and that you're going to have to be chipped.
Right.
And
you won't be able to work.
No. You see, right here in Missouri, every time you turn on the local news, they always scream about, like, all the deaths. I think we're at, like, 34 deaths in Missouri, but if you just look at the population of Missouri, it's over 1 million people. So 34, 35 people that perishes from 1 million people, you won't even notice it.
Right.
But when you turn on the local news, you would think that people are dropping like flies, but they're literally not.
I think a lot of people who are dropping like flies are actually incarcerated. I just talked to Dr. Short today, had emergency transmission by him, and he was saying that a lot of folks are getting hammered in the incarceration situation, the halfway homes, the foster home. They're getting hammered.
Oh yeah. But nobody gives a crap about those people. I'm just being honest.
Wow.
Even though they are human beings, but the greatest of society as a whole don't care about those people.
That's true.
I mean, we there's no doubt in my mind that our government knew that China was going to release this virus to the public. They were well aware of this.
Well, they probably knew just how they knew that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction because they held the receipt.
So, all I can really say on the whole thing is, from just research I've done, the majority, whatever numbers they're saying of people who have caught this disease, multiply that by like 2 or 3. The majority of people are asymptomatic, so that means they would never experience any symptoms at all with this. This only affects the old and the weak and the people that had something wrong with them but never been diagnosed with anything. Them are the people that are dying. The vast majority are asymptomatic. Your whole family can have it. Nobody never shows any signs of sickness. Well, those are coming from doctors from all over the planet.
Let's switch gears. When the Republican, and let's be honest, it was the conservative crew that came up with the statement, Grandma and Grandpa should be willing to die for the economy to be strong. What are your thoughts on that?
They should. Their best days are behind them.
So,
I know it sounds cruel. But if I was in that position, I would feel like I should do the same thing.
Like if you were 70 years old, you would be willing to die for the debtor-creditor situation?
Yeah.
Wow.
A 20-year-old person, life is more valuable than mine would be at the age of 70. I would be more of a burden.
So then, do you not see to where we finally hit a plateau or a way of thinking in society? If you're not capable or able to contribute, then you just do not exist.
Yeah, see, most Americans are selfish. We live in a selfish culture. we live in a all about me culture. And when tragedies like this hit, we don't know what to do because it's all about me. Now, people are going to blame Trump for all of this, but this country's had problems way before he came into office.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
He just happens to be the person in charge at this time.
And the key word is in charge.
Yeah. And I don't see him doing anything different than anybody else would be doing. Actually, I think he's actually doing a pretty decent job for, the part that he was dealt. See, that's the stuff people don't want to talk about, is that we live under the illusion of living in a first world country, but in actuality, we live in a third world country. Second world at best.
It's first world as long as you're wealthy. As long as you're wealthy, this is a great spot. But if you're not wealthy, it's not so great. I mean, we just had a report, McDonald's workers are walking out because of lack of PPE, personal protective equipment.
Like, they're just now starting to limit how many people can go in the grocery stores and all this other stuff, where those should have been the first places to where only a certain amount of people that could go in at the time. The food was contaminated within the first 2 weeks of them claiming of this pandemic.
Correct.
The food was already contaminated. Just by how the public was going in there. And now, like with all these mom and pop businesses closing their doors, a lot of them won't be able to reopen. And corporations will just go in there and buy up the land, and buy up the buildings at pennies on the dollar. And
well, the sad thing about it, you already heard that Waffle House has already went belly up. Waffle House might not come back.
That place was disgusting. I couldn't stand the Waffle House. That food's terrible, and they're always dirty. The Waffle House, Walmart, and Quick Trip, I feel like was always in competition of who can have the nastiest bathroom.
Oh God, Quick Trip wins by far. Quick Trip wins by far. Their shit is bombed the fuck out every time.
I've never went in a clean Quick Trip or Walmart or Waffle House bathroom. It always seemed like you had to have a biohazard suit on going to that place.
You're safer just to piss back there by the dumpster, for real.
Yeah, you're better off just using the bathroom behind the dumpster outside. It's probably that much safer.
I mean, that's a horrible thing to say. But
hey, it's the truth.
But think about it. If you was a Quick Trip worker, no mask, no gloves provided, and you got to deal with all these fools. Come, here's that $20, and you got to touch this shit and bring it home to your kids. I mean, right now it should be right in your face about wage slavery. The plantations on quarantine. The field Negroes stay up in the shanties. You house Negroes come out and do the job up at the big house. That means cook, clean, fucking make it look beautiful on inside and outside. And that's where we're at. I mean, think about it. They're actually shutting down churches. You can't go and worship. Even if there was some sort of, I guess, magical powers that actually heal people, you cannot even go to attend. It's sad.
It'd be a good time for them to bring those magical powers, wouldn't it?
I'm just saying.
If you're out there looking, we can show you your help right about now. This would be the perfect time to show your strength, your greatness.
Well, I don't know. Did Joe Osteen finally close this church, or is he still rocking and rolling down there in the fucking Houston down, making that cash?
Oh yeah, he's got to get enough. He's got to get enough flock of idiots. They'll send this money in here. Like, here's my CashAPP. You know. So, people like him, well, they'll be okay, you know. They've been conning people for a long time. The Kid of Copeland, the TD Snakes, and all the rest of them, the Creflo Dollars and all of them guys, they'll be okay.
You think they'll fare through it? You know, I mean, because I keep on thinking there's been 8,000 deaths in the United States so far. And, you know, I just don't think this is the appropriate way for humanity to be going towards the chip, towards basically bowing down to scientists as if, you know.
I mean, how else are you going to get a massive number of people to allow themselves to be chipped unless you don't bring on some kind of, you know, heroic, horrific, you know, event? You know, the same with 9/11, you know, we want to be able to use surveillance on you, so we got to create, you know, a horrific accident, you know, so we can steal more of your civil liberty.
Right.
Now, if you turn it on like cable news and stuff, and I've been watching just to listen to the language, and every night on CNN they've been talking about, they will have different people bring it up. Well, you got to give up some of your civil liberties to feel safe, to be safe. Whenever they say you got to give up liberties to be safe, you're not going to be safe.
Exactly.
You're not going to be safe at all. It's a context. But we have been conditioned, the people of the United States have been so brainwashed, so pumped full of fear that, you know, we'll sacrifice our firstborn if people think they would be safe.
Right.
They would literally sacrifice their firstborn.
And they do. I mean, listen, the whole fear factor here is like Thanos snap level. It's off the chart. People would be willing to. They even got hotlines. Oh, I see Dimebag having a barbecue over there, and I think there's more than 10 people. I mean, straight up, Barbecue Becky is sitting there creaming her fucking nasty fat ass jeans over the opportunity to fuck up, because you watch these social distancing laws, these later draconian laws pertaining to health is going to apply hardcore to black folks and poor whites.
All that stuff's going to be on the books in about 5 years.
You better get checked.
Gathering the more than 10 people, all this stuff.
You know, there are a lot of folks out there that will not take the chip, and they won't probably take the vaccine when it's presented to them.
I wouldn't take that vaccine. You better let them work the kinks out.
Well, you know that Dr. Fauci or Fauci or whatever is aligned with Bill Gates and Melinda Gates and their eugenics bullshit. He is not your friend. He is not your fucking friend.
That's why you always disagreeing with what Trump say.
Basically.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not a Trump supporter or anything else like that, but you got to call a spade a spade. And as far as how he's been handling this situation, you know, he's been doing stuff that's beneficial to the American people.
True.
And you know, people can call him a buffoon or whatever you want to call it. You know, he hasn't folded under pressure. He looks like he's coherent. Can't say the same about Joe Biden. But, I mean, if people didn't think that he was going to get reelected, he's pretty much showing up his reelection right now. So, his approval ratings for how he's handling this situation is over 60%. So
you think there will be election this year?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there'll be election.
Because
we'll be popping fireworks in what, 2 months? 3 months?
I don't know. You might want to hold off. You know, after talking to George Maxwell, he's like, the worst of this will not happen until October. And that's when it's going to get really nasty.
Well, you know, I look at it like this. You know, it's the one thing that's always guaranteed to you when you were born is the death. It don't tell you how you're going to die. It just tells you that you're going to get it. And, I mean, how long are you going to tell people that they have to stay in their house, they can't work, or any of this other stuff? You can tell them to go on all the rent strikes you want. When all this is over with, if that money ain't due, they're going to be out on the street. And And all these people telling them to go on a rent strike are going to be living in their nice little cozy homes. These crazy liberals going to be in their homes, and so there are a lot of people kicked out on the street.
Well, we just cleaned up the first crew of homeless. You know, California snatching them up like fucking turnips and putting them in detention centers. And I'm assuming it's happening all across the United States because, if you know, it's kind of hard to self quarantine when you don't have a house to quarantine in. You know, so yeah, I guess after it's all said and done, we'll go back to business as usual. You'll have the undesired and unwanted on the streets. You'll have the middle class working their ass off so that they don't ascend or descend rather into that predicament. And then you have the lower and higher upper class enjoying the fruits of capitalism.
Yep. You know it, and that's how it is. That's the American way.
Well, that way's not really, as they would say in the fast food industry, cutting the mustard. I mean, that way is where we're sitting at right now. Grandma and Grandpa, you need to die. All the weak, disabled, inferred, you guys need to die so that we can be better debtors to the credit system.
Yeah, that's how it is. Like in Italy, if a 20-year-old and a 60-year-old go into the hospital for the coronavirus, they're going to push that little 60-year-old person to the side, and they're going to treat that 20-year-old. They're going to let that 60-year-old stay over there and rot.
It's nice to know
that for weeks now.
that when you're not able to pull your own weight in a society, you're fucking a douchebag that needs to be cut.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it is. I mean, I would expect the same thing if I was in that situation, if I was that age, you know.
Now
that younger person can do more than what I can. I'm more of a burden.
This what goes back to reparations and economic viability. If you're not economically viable before a situation like we're going through now, and your viability isn't somehow substantiated by the greater society, you're doomed to be a part of the deletion crowd. Just by proxy, just by the mere fact that you're economically unworthy. You have no means.
It's just like in St. Louis, when you get to the Delmar Divide, it's less testing facilities than they are on the other side of the Delmar Divide.
I wonder why.
Because that's where most of the poor undesirables live. On the other side.
So in other words,
side of the Delmar Divide.
This goes back to gentrification, brother. You got to be gentrified to ride, baby. You know gentrification, then you need to be exterminated.
Like my fiance works for a law firm.
Correct.
And they're still working from home. You think they have to start filing lawsuits on people?
No.
Heck no. They ranching it up. They're filing hundreds of lawsuits a day on people.
Wow.
Ranching it up. And I said, why y'all ranching it up? She's like, so we can be first in line when the court's open.
To get that money.
To get that money.
That is how this culture of death plays out.
It's big business. Big business.
So, right now, with the information you have, how long do you think this quarantine's gonna last?
First week of June.
You think first week of June?
Yeah.
And then restaurants and everything. April. Because see, what people are failing to realize, when these restaurants and stuff shut down, then like delivery guys that work for Kuna Foods and other big foods, U.S. foods, they can't make their deliveries. Prairie Farms, they can't make their deliveries. So it has a chain reaction result. And that's why Trump was talking about, we need to get this shit open by Easter. Now, of course, that didn't happen. Thank God, because of the stimulus package. for the rich, and let's say what
And
it is. The
and that's
Dow
a joke,
Jones
right?
went up 1,200 points.
That's your mistake. It's a joke.
Now, if you're wealthy, it's right on time.
Yeah.
As if
Not
you.
only are they going to give the banks the money for those missed mortgage payments, they're going to let the banks take your homes too.
Yes. It's a win-win for the banks, you see. And then they can give out more loans to stupid motherfuckers with a couple of bucks and rape into that money as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to actually end this one here on a very, very sad and depressing note. To shock you motherfuckers into understanding this shit's real as fuck. And when you hear the trains coming through and, oh my God, I want to get from the virus, or I want to get from the fucking war. Just remember, that train ain't taking you to liberation, baby. It's taking you to annihilation. The oven. The easy bake oven. I know nothing. You got anything to say? You want to say any words of wisdom or any end thought?
At the end of the day, we're all Americans. A lot of us can't go live nowhere else. If you got family and kids, try to protect your family and kids. I feel sorry for the people that live in these liberal states, so you can't gun up. But I mean, get the stuff that you need. Don't overbuy. The next person might need something. There's no reason for you to have 50 packs of shit paper. Nobody poops that much. And, just, protect yourself and we'll get through this,
Yes, we will.
Just be safe out there. Because the strong will survive and the weak will be wiped out.
Yes, they will.
So,
now tell about where they can check you out at, brother.
Oh, you can find me at Truth Be Told TV on YouTube. That's my YouTube channel, or you can go to Truth Be Told TV on Facebook. Other than that, I'll just be roaming the mean streets of Missouri.
That means you got that shit right. This shit is. But here's a bright note I want to add as we leave. Ever since Corona-19 or COVID-19 came out, you haven't heard about opioid overdoses at all. Like they just went away, evaporated away. So that might just be the silver lining out of this.
No, they ain't going away. They just ain't got time to focus on it. But old Larry still ODing. They still giving out free Narcan shots on Fridays. Because, dope fiends don't take a day off.
Well, dope fiends are supposed to self-quarantine as well.
Tell it to somebody that need a fix.
Stay 6 feet apart from the dope man.
You know
it. Yeah, it don't work out like that. Talk about speakeasy. All right, brother. I'll holler at you later.
All right, keep them kids safe.
I will, man. Peace.
All right, peace.
And don't make the mistake that most of his mothers and fathers made. When I wake up in the morning, my prayers, and I thank God I woke up, the Ku Klux Klan woke up this morning. The drug pushers woke up this morning. I thank God that I made another 24 hours in the most vicious, nasty, hateful, insane nation that's ever existed with my wits, without hating,
without being bitter, without being mean.
Victor.
And I thank God that I survived 24 hours in that type of atmosphere with the type of amusement and friendliness. And so I would say to young folks, don't be in a state of denial of the racism and sexism, but don't let that block you. Don't teach your children that you have to be twice as good as a white. That's an awful thing to teach your child. Mm-hmm. That's like saying because you're black, white America has a right to change your dollar for 94 cents. But we used to get 50 cents, and before that we used to get nothing. Young folks have to say, we don't want more change for $1. Excuse me, we want a full dollar's change for $1, or this cash register will never ring again.
Yes.
I would also like for young blacks to understand that about 83% of all employment happen with small businesses. And excuse me, if you don't have a small business, then you have nobody to work for you. And I would say to young blacks, get into entrepreneurship. We will never catch up with white America till we get into business, because there's a thing called tax write-offs. And if you have a job and come together, 10 of you, and open up a corporation and have somebody run it, you hiring somebody to run it, but you have tax write-offs. 98% of people that fly first class on airplanes would not be there if that wasn't a write-off. And yet, on that first class, they gave away last year $800 million, almost $1 billion of free whiskey. But if a welfare mother asked for some apple juice for the baby, she's laughed at. Mm-hmm. And so I would say entrepreneurship, and then understand that we will never survive as a group until we get into communities and not neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. A community is, I control the police, the banks, the schools, the firefighters, and I control the flow of the money. And I have no problem when I go in a Jewish neighborhood and the shop owners are Jewish, and I go into an Italian neighborhood and shop owners are Italian. I have a problem when I come in a black neighborhood and the shop owners is not me. A Korean has a right to come in and buy my shop for $30 million more than it's worth. That's good business. But if we decide that we're not going to do business with that boy, then he'll have to sell it back, or she'll sell it back to a black person for $1 million. Yes. And then the money circulates, and that's how you change. We've been so busy dealing with the hurt and the pain and the misery and glamorizing a handful that have made it, that we have never really looked at, like they say, your role model. If you haven't got a role model in your house, you should fall on your knees and pray to God, because something is wrong.
Yes.
And so I would say to young folks, it's not about alcohol, but it's hard for me to say that to you when a 5-year-old got to reach past mama's beer and papa's wine to get some mayonnaise. I would also say to young folks that the number one drug that will wipe you out is not cocaine, it's not heroin, it's marijuana. And they deliberately make that a recreation drug, but it stays in the muscles, it stays in the blood, and it will wipe out your memory bank. And also, this is the first time in the history of TB that TB has always been known as poor folks. It's the first time that TB is not running rampant in the ghetto. It's running rampant in middle-income white America, because it's the marijuana that they spray, and that's no accident. And so I would just say to young folks, you have to reevaluate everything you've been taught. I would say to the black folks that just because a black person is 90 years old don't mean they have wisdom, and you need to listen to them, because if you was dumb and stupid when you was 9, you dumb and stupid when you 90.